Hi, first graders. It's Mrs. Page here, and we are going to work on another retell strategy. So retelling is what you do when you are finished reading a book and you need to talk about it. You want to talk about it because remember, reading is not just reading the words, but it's also understanding the story and then being able to explain that story to someone when they ask you about it. So today's strategy is actually pretty fun because you get to do it on the computer. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You'll need to click on that link that I have up on this slide on our document. And this is a story map. So what we're going to do is click Get Started, and then you'll have all of these different options to talk about specific things in your story. So if you just read a book on Bookflix or listened to a story on Bookflix, you can pick any book from there. Make sure you're keeping with fiction, okay? So the book that I'm going to talk about is the book that I just read to my daughter, Indy, for her bedtime story, and that is called Good Night, Gorilla. So hopefully this is a familiar text that you have all read. Good Night, Gorilla. It's one of my favorite books. So I'm going to put in here title, Good Night, Gorilla. And again, if you haven't read this book, then you're going to learn about this book because I'm going to retell it to you using these different maps. So, Good Night, Gorilla by Mrs. Page. So, I think I'm going to start with the setting. So, when we think about the setting, I can look up here and it says, where does the story take place? So in your book that you have read, think, where is the story mostly taking place at? And in Good Night, Gorilla, it's mostly taking place at the zoo. So then I'm going to type in zoo and click enter. When does the story take place? Okay, so again, we're thinking back to when the story mostly took place, and that was nighttime. And then finally it says, write a detailed description of the setting. So you can type this in, and if you're not doing this on the computer, you can draw out the setting on a piece of paper. You can write this all out on a piece of paper if you want. You don't have to use this computer, but this is just a strategy to use. So I think I'm going to talk about how there are zoo animal cages, nighttime. They are, I think it's like a summer night because of what they're wearing. It looks like they aren't very cold. So I can just keep on writing into here if I want, or I can go up here to graphic organizers and pick something else. So character map. That's going to ask me about the characters in the story. Conflict map. This is going to talk about the problem of the story. Resolution map. This is talking about how was that problem solved. So if you think back to Good Night, Gorilla, all those animals snuck out of the zoo, got into bed with the zookeeper. Zookeeper's wife was not too happy about it, woke up and walked those animals back to the zoo, for the most part. So feel free to try this new strategy by mapping out parts of the story using graphic organizers and have fun with it. Okay, happy reading.